Hello, everybody. Rushing into the stream tonight at full steam ahead, and wow, look at that picture right there. That's cool. Just happened to see that on Twitter. But that's not what we're streaming about. That's cool, though. Get onto the live dashboard. Message at everyone, I guess, because I forgot. Okay, so now. What else? Oh, the heavy machinery mod has 854 downloads now, so that's cool on the latest version. Let's see, can I go to the dashboard real quick? Let's see if we got any questions. I don't know. I haven't been on here in a day or two. Look at that. Nope. Fun. Fair enough. What else we got going? So, if I run the game, we will see that made quite a few changes. So, I can't remember. Yesterday was it spawning the mob? I think it was, right? So it spawns the mob. Currently, right now, the way I've got it set up, let me confirm I didn't change it back. I've got it set so that it will take the owner's name for the owner of the entity and also add a random integer to it. I'm doing that so that when it checks for teams, it doesn't find that it's on the same team as the player. That way, A, it can attack the player so I can test that it will track a player, and B, these guys now attack each other as well. My headset battery is beeping at me already. As soon as this loads in, there we go. So these guys will spawn, look for each other, and then start murdering each other's faces. Now sometimes they get into that state where they aren't trying to hit each other. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe they're just at the range just right where they won't attack or something. But I've left this type of setup run with just one of these, and you never get more than say maybe 8 of them at any given moment. Hey, Eagle, you are number 1. $777. What's 777 about? But anyway, I set these guys up to attack each other, partially because they will be attacking each other, but also partially because I needed to know if they were working, right? And that's a much easier way than trying to set myself on a different team, blah, blah, blah. So, now that we know that they're working, I think it'd be cool if we had a way of setting them on their own independent teams based on the block, because right now the block's looking at me. Oh! It didn't tell me I got a new subscriber. For real? Well, thank you to whoever subscribed. It's also not telling me that I'm getting messages, but I am. So, these guys are just going to be like, I don't want to attack you if you don't attack me. There's a few things we need to do to accomplish what I'm after next. And that is, we need different colors for these guys, right? So each team should have their own respective color. Each team should, or the block should have a GUI that lets us determine what that color is. Let me change my headset battery. Or that team is, I guess you should say. Earlier, I set up network packets to handle the GUI buttons. But what I didn't do is set up containers and GUIs and all that. So maybe that's the first focus we should have, because that gives us a lot of flexibility. Once we've got that working, then we can go back to the network packet and actually have it do something functional, because right now it's just sending a message saying, you know, packet was sent kind of thing. But that's enough. Yeah, let's focus on that first. The container stuff. So I'm going to use McJTY's MCJTY's tutorial for this. So I'm going to keep this off on another screen here. We've got our block that we want this tied to, right? So we've got this block, but we want to set up a garrison container to go with this because we need a container and we need a screen. It used to be called a GUI, but it's called screen now, I understand. I believe that's what it's called. Extends container screen, yeah. So let's first do the container. So the container is a server-side thing. And you can hear these guys plugging away at each other. Yeah, let's do this. The fight. And then the code over here. There, like that. Okay, so we've got a package we need to create. .container. Guess with the nest at the end, why not? Okay, inside containers, we're going to create a new class, and it's going to extend. It's going to say what's it going to say? Garrison block container. Let's just call it garrison container. We don't need to put a block in there. It has nothing to do with the block. Container. Okay, and if we go inside here, it's giving us errors because it thinks that that is a normal import, but it is not. It is one from Minecraft. Please do the import. Okay, and then we have to do this to get the constructor. And that's the constructor from the superclass, so it needs these things. We're gonna need a first. We need lots of stuff here. There's our ID. We will need an ID. And the way that MCJTY has done it is probably going to be different than how I would like to do it. So we're going to improvise on what he's doing, and hopefully that doesn't cause us problems. What else we got errors for? Add unimplemented methods. I thought we did that. Can't interact. True. Sure. We will want to use the distance check stuff, which is this, I guess. See if we can just use that as is. Not really. Yeah. For now, let's just return true. The heck? There we go. Surprised it returns false by default. And slots, so he's adding slots and working with inventories on his code, so we don't need to worry about that. Then he's got under his block class, and this is where I'm going to start to deviate from what he's doing. I'm going to do a mod containers class. Containers. It's just my preference to try and keep things organized in these, especially with these being so similarly named at object holder. And it will be on this same type of syntax. We can go over here. Does anybody have any guesses what we're working on? What the mod is? Okay, so that'll be it. And it is going to be garrison block is the name. And we do public static container type. And it's going to be of type garrison. Garrison container. And it'll be garrison container. There we go. And that should be this entire class, I think. No, we're gonna have one other piece to it. Yeah, I know you know, Eagle. I didn't know if anybody else here knew or had a guess. Because, like, part of me wants everyone to know, but also, part of me doesn't. Like, I want to keep it a secret until someone guesses it, but I want people to know so that we can talk about it. Question, that's strange. I don't know why that didn't work. Huh? I'm just seeing dots there, man. Okay, so then on this piece, we're going to do another subscribe event. We're not going to call it that. We're going to call it something different, obviously. So it'll be on container registry. Is it container type? Container type, but close enough. And it'll be container type. We'll keep it as event. Save so that it does its import. Yeah, crap, I have to terminate. So there goes the fights. We will do mod containers. I am to every time I type in the change, and it changes so that if I said blank, it doesn't come up. Sure. That's not my doing if it's doing that. Register containers is what we want to call this method. And it's going to take this signature basically. So let's get a notepad and put it in there. For the time being, don't do that, Timmy. Put it on this one. And it's going to have this name. Okay, then back in containers. Actually, let's look at blocks real quick because we're going to do this similar in blocks here. And this is where we register all the individual blocks. So I'm going to take this signature in containers, put it in there like that, give it that name. Let's see this type, final event. There we go. And we'll do this. And we'll save. Okay, and then our meat and potatoes of this should now work. Yep. And mod blocks. Doing register op. So I make it easy on myself is the reason I do this. I kind of set up extra classes that or extra methods that do what we need to do so that I can keep these single lines and never have to deal with this type of line here where it's got a ton of crap in it basically. And then every time I add another one, I copy and paste this and add the block there, right? And it makes it way easier to deal with. So I add it there. I add it here, I guess, because I have to add it as a block and an item, and then I add a holder for it, and we're done. So this is much easier than trying to edit this type of line where you need the block in multiple spots and you have to remember to get them all and blah, 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 blah. Less hard coding, basically. So back to container. So we're basically going to do this type of deal, or not that one, this type of deal on it. To make it easier. And this, we'll call this, which actually does the registration in the proper format. We're going to call it register container single, make it private. That's what we're going to do there. We're going to get the container, mod containers. And it needs to take a container type as its last one. And what are you complaining about? Oh, I need a name for it. Container. There we go. Okay, so now when we add another container, we just edit this single line, and it will do all the meat in here, which is going to be something similar to this, but we need to modify it for our code. Okay, so forge container type register save, so that it imports that. No? Data.read block position. Okay, so new. Oh, garrison container, really? Maybe we can't do it the same. TS, RTS. So we need the block's name. String registry. Yeah, it's gonna be this portion of the registry. And that goes here. Registry name. Okay, so we get the window and an INV and a data. Let's go into this specifically. Stinking internet. Takes a container type factory. The heck is it doing? Oh, is it because we don't have any? Is it somehow detailing that out? Let's look at our garrison block. Where's that? Garrison container. No, we've got author type and ID. See you, blue boy. Okay, let's comment that out and this for now. And it likes everything but create then. Cast argument 1 to container factory. What is argument 1? Like, doing this stuff before in Minecraft was way easier. I know they're using some new technique from Java, and I just don't haven't learned it, and that's why this is complicated to me, but it seems so much more complex compared to the old stuff. Which is why I wanted to do this on a new project to figure this stuff out, because trying to rework my old code with its thousands of lines was going to be a nightmare. Oh, let's do this. Let's look at the GitHub page. CJTY GitHub. YouTube modding 114. And his main class mod tutorial container. That is the correct code. I didn't know if he had something else happening in there. So what if we return this, but fix this for our class, which is going to be Garrison container, and it's going to have or require a type and an ID, which his does not require the type part. Okay. So if we look at his actual container then, she has it under blocks, container. Got the window ID. Okay, so we can get rid of the container part of it. So we can just have the ID there. Because this is going to be mod containers dot Garrison container. Just like that. Okay, and then over here we can just say window ID. And what's it airing off now? Change visibility to Garrison container to public. It's private. Sure. And we're happy. Now, this portion of this, I'm very confused on. Why is it got those three parameters? Where do those three parameters get defined? Because if we look at this create, it doesn't have anything about that. It's something about, oh wait. ID, player inventory. Oh, there it is. So packet buffer, so any extra data goes in the packet buffer. Inventory, okay. So where does the packet buffer get defined what parameters it has available to it then? Because in his class, he's using it to read some field position or something, right? Actually, we've got it in ours. Just commented out the moment. Yeah, data.read block position. That's interesting. So I mean, somewhere else he's probably writing a block position? Block position. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it because it's not important for ours right at the moment. We might need a block position, but we know how to do it. It's already in here. We don't have a world reference. Will we need a world reference? I'm not sure. Then we need to do the screen side of things. Okay. So now we can go client, right? Because it's going to be on the client side only. And we can go inside here and say class. We want package first. Can we do it here? GUI. And then this will be Garrison screen. 2 E's. Garrison screen. Cool. We did create the package first. I have to remember that. And this is going to extend container screen. And it's going to be garrison container. That needs to be capitalized. Okay, add the constructor. And by default, it needs the container, which has garrison container. Cool. Player inventory, which we don't care about. And the text title. Okay. We're calling super on all three of those, and that's fine. And it wants more stuff. Add unimplemented methods. Draw background layer. Okay. That's where we bind a texture for this. And in this case, he's got a line up at the top. It's got a reference to us. It's not static, actually. Or final. Private. Resource location. GUI texture, we'll call it. Equals new resource location. And it is reference, in my case, dot mod ID plus, comma. Textures. GUI. And garrison .png. GUI, we'll call it. Okay, and now what you complaining about? Oh, didn't put the semicolon at the end of the line. Okay, so texture's not being used. We need to do GL state manager dot color. I don't even know if this is needed actually. This dot GL dot Minecraft dot get texture manager dot bind texture, and it'll be texture that we just created at the top there, and int relative x equals this dot width come on minus this dot x size, which we don't even have defined right at the moment, right? Nope. 5x2. I'm gonna do the same for the height. So height and height and y size divided by 2. And this dot blit. Really? They renamed it to blit? Wow, okay. That's cool. My inner geek likes. No, blit offset. Just blit. And it'd be, I'm just gonna call these X and Y. X, Y, 0, 0, this dot size, this dot Y size. Okay. We are skipping on which pieces of parts that we're picking to put into this thing, but that should be okay. Now we need to register in our proxy. That's where he's doing it at, though, so we'll do the same. And he's doing a proxy init, so we've already got this registered render handler for our entity. So this be entity renders GUI registry client GUI, a screen manager dot register factory container type. So this is mod containers dot garrison container. This part's going to trip me up every time I add a new one. So this will be not first, garrison screen, colon new. Okay, why don't you like that? It does, just need time to compile. Okay, and then first tile block. The server side, we have to extend our block and tile entity to support the new GUI. So on the tile entity itself, what the heck, that's new. I named why is it not like this? Container provider. The file has been saved, but one of the save actions failed. Great. Oh, is it because of the space there? I don't think so. That's not good. Array index out of bounds trying to format the code? What the heck? Source. Clean up. Finish. We might need to restart Eclipse here. Let's try closing it and reopening the window first. Force a save. Yeah. I'm gonna copy paste the name, make sure I got the right name. Still nothing. It's not giving me anything when I hover over to try and quick fix it either. That's restart Eclipse, everyone. I think it might have had a bad day there. Yeah, look at it. It's taking forever to close. Boop. Start Eclipse again. It has been running for a better part of a week or more. Because I tend to not close it. I am bad that way. Okay, so now if I do save. Ooh. It still don't like this one. Okay, so can we just say source organize inputs or imports? No. Awesome. That's why. I am dumb. I was doing it off of extends instead of implements. I thought this was implements. So now we can add the unimplemented functions, which is create a menu, which creates the container. Return new garrison container with an ID, and the ID is just the first parameter to this thing. I guess that's it. RET are in. There we go. Create local. Oh, I did not see that that underline was there. Okay, and then on the block, oh, the name provider, display name. We don't care. New string text component, blah blah blah. String. This is going to be what? Get type. Dot get registry. Dot get path. that's just going to be a value that we can use probably in localization. Okay, so now back on our block itself, if we click on it, we want to do an action. And that action is to open the menu. So we can say on block activated. Is it that one? With the state, the world, block position, player, hand, and ray trace result. Yep. Okay, so we can say that'll be our return at the very end. So if this is the world, let's rename these. That'll do. World.isRemote. So if it's not remote, so we are on the server, we want to do an action on the server only. The tile entity te get equals world dot get tile entity at the position, and if tile entity te what the heck te instance of I named container provider, really, because that's what all of these are going to be. So this makes this code somewhat reusable. Okay. Let me say network hooks. That's new. Dot open GUI. And it's going to be one of these. We will figure out which one. Okay, player. We want to say server player. Okay. And the I named provider, which will be our tile entity. And the tile entity's position. Oh, te.position. Else, and we got an illegal one. New throw new. Some error handling stuff I usually don't do too well. Illegal state. Our named container provider is missing. Yeah, sure. It'll be more of an error message I can actually deal with, I guess. This is very generic okay, in nature, right? We might be able to just pass this off to a method we can call somewhere else. There's nothing specific about our specific tile entity, right? So we could just have a utility function somewhere else that we can call, and call it in all of our on-block updates, and boom, that same code runs. Which I guess is good. In fact, I could probably put this in one of the super classes for the tile entities blocks, the parent classes. But for now, let's run this thing. See how many errors we get. Does it open a GUI? Do we have a GUI to render? No, we don't, because we didn't put the stupid file in, did we? Textures. We want a folder called GUI. Boop. GUI. And then if I do this and hit this, we get a Explorer window, and I can go close. I can open up my Photoshop over here. Actually, let's get another GUI that we know is... Nah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's create a new file. New. Make it 256 by 256. So I think that's the GUI size. I don't remember. Garrison GUI. Lots of bugs. Let's just draw on here with whatever we can. Something bigger than that, please. I'll Photoshop. Files, save as. Could you go any slower when I'm in a hurry? Textures, GUI. And our name for this GUI is going to be under client screen. GUI screen. Garrison GUI. .png. Save. Okay. Refresh. In the game. Go to this. Load up a world. Right-click the block, and we get our GUI. Awesome. It looks like crap because that's what I put in there, but that's our GUI. How do we get it? Oh, I must have used spawn egg on it. Cool. So now we need to make a pretty GUI. Let's just, for the fun of it, do that. First off, file. Save. I gotta figure out how to force Photoshop to not always save it as a copy, to just save it as the frickin' file. Now if I do a change, will it save it? I bet it will. So let's refresh this. Oop. Go here, open. Yeah, it didn't change because we didn't reload the textures yet. F3T. Oh dang. Ah, it didn't work. Refresh. Oh, did we save it as the wrong name? We did. Dang it. It should be that name. We do not want to save as a copy. Underscore version is the correct one. F3T. Refresh. Get rid of the garbage one. There we go. There we go. That's about the right size. Now, I say that, but fully aware that, you know, maybe we'll need a lot of buttons on this. I'm not sure how many buttons we're going to need yet. So what this Garrison's GUI is going to be, for now in debug mode, we're going to have it have buttons that lets us choose a team. But in the future, it'll have buttons that let you pick which unit it's going to try and spawn. And that's actually what's going to trigger it to spawn. Right now, it's just on a timer, right? In the future, you'll have to buy your units, basically, through this. And I would like it so that you can queue them up and click it 5 times, and it will know it needs to create 5 of them. As long as you've got the cash to buy 5. Cool. So let's start adding buttons, and let's also make that a gray color. Save. Curious, does it? Okay, what if I do the refresh in Eclipse so that it knows it has change? Nope, have to do the F3T every time. Dang. Okay, so now we're back to the old GUI code stuff, right? Where I can leverage something like this project, where we've got lots of button code out there. GUI, say our screen, for example. Not our screen, the tower crane, I mean. It's just littered with buttons, right? So we just add a button. Garrison block. What function was that in? That's what I went there for. Knit. We do not have knit. Right? So we're going to right click, source, overload, implement init if it is there. It is not. There it is. So super init, and then this, and button GUI, probably button screen. Button what? Or is it just a button now? Awesome. Terminate. Oh, we'll call ID 1. Why are you in? Where are you at? Button widget. Yeah, this sounds right. iButton pressable? On press? What's this? Huh? Are buttons different now in Minecraft? iPressable. What the heck? What is an iPressable? An iPressable is an interface. Huh. Does that mean we can just put our own method in there? How would I even do that? I want to do it this way. Good Eagle. Before you had another method, actions performed, that would get the button ID, and you just have to do a big if statement for all the different button IDs. It works. Nothing really wrong with it. But if I'm reading this right, and this is really how they're doing it now, that means we get a callback method that we can define, and it runs for us. It sure does seem like it. iPressable is a class with its own method called onPress. So if we passed our own implementation of a button iPressable, we can run code. Do we also have the action one? Because like that's a way I know and we'll get it working really quick, and it's not that complicated, but it's a cool concept if they're doing it the other way. Also, that's not really a button list. Buttons. There we go. And we can say 0, 0, 0. Button width, 50. String test. Now what you don't like. Too many integers or what? What is your constructor? Oh right, it wants the I button press. Oh man, okay. First before I do this, so action. What was it called? Action what? Action performed. See, it's a void though, so there's no parameters passed to it. Oh my gosh. It's not a thing anymore, sir. Yeah, there's no action. Get it off of my screen. There's no action press there. There's no action theory there. Oh well, it'll be better. So we need to define a new class. So private class button press? Question mark, I guess. Extends, or implements, I'm sorry, implements. I never write classes inside of other classes. That's why this is giving me a pain. Let's go to the button thing. That's an interface inside of it. Public class implements. Button dot iPressable. Okay, and then inside I'll add unimplemented methods. Boop. So we could add a class like this for each one of these? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It gets the button back, and we can get the ID back. Yeah, we're gonna make this really generic. My button. We're gonna pass the same freaking my button class to all of these new my button. Ta-da! That should be happy. It is not. Remove arguments to match. Sure, whatever. How many arguments we got here? So we're gonna use the ID, right? Is ID the first one? Width, height. Oh gosh, there's no ID. Width, height. Width, height, yep. String. The X, the Y, the width, and the height. There is no ID for this. Well, that makes this not generic anymore, though. Oh gosh, can we? We might be able to. I'm diving deeply into unknown territory for me specifically. So bear with me. Log tsrts.auger.info pressed. I did not like it one bit. Boop. I don't remember what I said that warranted that, but that's hilarious. Okay. Well, I need to research this, it looks like. Minecraft Forge 1.14 GUI button. How to add a GUI button. That's from 2014. GUI buttons, drawings, and foreground rendering. That's from 2016. Jablar's block. Blocks with GUIs, textures, buttons. Yeah, button list. This is all old code stuff. Code examples for GUI button. No, it's not a GUI button. It's a button pressed button. iPressable. Solved. iBubble present, not called. Okay. Yep. Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing I was just trying to do a second ago. So they were saying button in the side of it for some reason. Like this. Hey, it likes it. We're just missing an extra parenthesis. So basically what this is doing is we're calling our code specifically right there in line. We're giving it, I think that's called a lambda function, where it will do this. Now the button piece I'm not getting, but let's take a look at the button pressed. That's because it takes a button. So that'll be the name of our parameter on this onPressed. Interesting. So if we needed to get information back about the button, we can get it from that. Let's try it. Although I don't know what information we get because it doesn't have anything like an ID or anything that's useful on it at all. There's nothing. Even extract button, nothing. Widget, no ID. What about abstract GUI? No ID. Like, it's just garbage. But I'm okay with this method. Don't like that. I typically don't like inline code as a parameter like this, but we don't have a way around it right now. Okay, boop, boop. Open it up. There's our button. Click it. And we do not get anything useful. Can we even put a breakpoint on it? I doubt it. Let's see. Switch. Breakpoints all over the place. Oh gosh, okay. So when I was testing the AI stuff out earlier, guys. You know what? Remove all. Let's just add this one back in. It's easier. It is not getting executed. Okay. First off, test. Right. It does say test. Let's get it somewhere friendly. My window. Where'd you go? Hey, Reaper. Let's just put it in the very center. Ish. X, Y. So that'd be width, let's do 50 and height of 10. I don't know if that's a good number or not. You finished some papers. Definitely clicking on it. Nothing. Cologne? I think you mean college. College papers. The button's there. So we know this piece of code's running. But this doesn't... Oh, gosh. We don't have a way of knowing when that's ran. Feels so weird going back to college and getting help from people my age. They look like babies. So I used being with grown-ups. Oh, yeah. Click all over it. Okay, so... Screen add buttons. There's a whole freaking method for adding buttons. Okay. That's why people always say you such a baby. Oh yeah. Oh, I get it. It's not the button list anymore. I'm going to Walmart but some chicken. I'm back on the keto diet. Oh, okay. Nice. I forget what the keto diet is, though. That's the one that's no carbs? Oh, wait, that's getting into ketosis when you go fasting, isn't it? I don't know. There's so many freaking diets out there. How much you weigh, man? What's your height and weight? I'm saying you're fat. I'm 227-ish. And under 6 foot. Just under. 310? What are you, like 6'5" though? I don't know what's a good height for that weight. Yeah, I'm obese by medicine too. 6'3". Okay. Yeah, so you got about 4 inches on me then, and are a bit heavier. Hey, it's working. Awesome. So now we can get the button on the client to be perfect. You should weigh 220. I should probably be like 180, 160 or something. So I need to lose 40, 60 pounds. It's probably part of the reason I have joint problems, right? More beast pressing against the joints, if you will. Okay, so yeah, I can do it if I tried. It's the trying part that's hard. Well, YouTube's saying my stream's sucking at the quality right now. Let's see if it's streaming. Yeah, it is. Okay. You can do it too, Reaper. You shall be my beastie buddy. You know men? Okay. Not gonna lie, kind of creepy. So next I need to come up with a tile entity. I need to copy my own code basically. Because I have this handy little style of creating tile entities that have buttons on them. Drinking warm jello helps your joints. Is that a joke? Because lately I've basically been desperate, man. The joint problems have stopped me streaming several times in the last few weeks. Let's put it that way. I just can't sit at the computer anymore. We want to go to tile entities. And yeah, we got special interfaces. This one. Really? Dude, you guys. Jello. Like Jello. Jello. I'm gonna look that up. As soon as I'm done streaming. Why would Jello help? There's like water and some ungodly and unnatural thing that they put in it to make it into Jello, right? It takes a button ID. No! Dang it! I'm gonna have to make IDs up. It's bones? Jello's made of bones? What? Ground up bones? Why would that help your joints? Joints aren't made of bone. Guess what, guys? I'm gonna make these buttons have IDs. Haha! We'll show them. Close project. And close this project. And we need an interface for our tile entity. So whatever. This is creating a package. Interface is new class. And the class name shall be GUI button handler. Like that. Why won't you let me hit finish? Probably because I need to tell it it's an interface. Boop. Okay, get rid of the space. Public abstract, blah blah blah. I'm also doing other thing. And this does a ITE blah blah blah. GUI button handler. And then that forces us to implement the method to actually do something with said button. And that is something that I can't remember. Well, for now we don't care. We just want to receive the message, basically. Oh, no sausage challenge, huh? It's not November yet, is it? The description you can't upload, man. Oh, thank you for keeping it somewhat PG, though, I guess. TS dot logger dot info button ID boop and no plus button ID. Yeah, sure, terminate. Why you don't like button ID? Okay, and now we need to go back and edit the network packet that we set up. What's this? I guess we gotta open this project again because I need to know what pieces of information we gotta know to be able to do this. You read studies? Oh, okay. What does that help you not gain weight? Or help you lose weight, I guess, set a different one. Okay, so we need these 3 pieces, 4 pieces of information. Bink. So we need a constructor for this. Source. Generate. Constructor using fields. Haha. Okay. And then we can take those fields, put them in the right spot, because that's going to bother me. Here we go. The list of fields. And in encode, we need to say buff. What the heck? Buff.write int. Like that. Oh. Okay. You say so, man. Why are you airing off? Oh, sure. No, this can't be static. What the heck? This can't be static, though. This better not break my mod thing, or my mod network. Dang it, it did. Really? I had to make those public. They're fine on there. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking something out. They're handled the same way. Encode, decode, handle, yep. And then network. They're just public. They're not static. And encode just takes buff. First off, let's do one at a time. We'll do encode first. Everything's happy. And we do this. Decode. Save it. Let's is no longer happy. Cannot make static reference to non-static method. Yeah. But you can do it for encode. The heck? Or is it because this is airing off? That could be. Now if I return static. What if it's static? Handle has to be static, which makes sense. Oh, it's the cat song. If you become a comic, okay, you have problems with the ability to accomplish minor tasks. You become empathetic, depressed since you're provided orphan. Oh, okay, I get what you're going for. I've seen studies about it before. Or I wouldn't call them studies. I've seen things on the internet about it before. Studies. Okay, so his decode is a new of it instead. Okay, so texture change packet. Okay, so texture change packet. Which texture change packet would return itself? Or the constructor would return itself, so that works. So then this becomes the word new. And it still doesn't like it. Because you need one with packet buffer. Okay. Public. Packet. If you pry too much, you can numb your brain and make it so you need more. Packet buffer. Buff. Kidding. That's all it takes. Okay. This is better. I struggled quite a while trying to get this working. And now it works. And now I don't need to make this static anymore, which makes me happy. In fact, handled shouldn't have to be static if I'm reading this right. But this says it does. But why? Handle. Let's look at the handle again. Get rid of the message. Poof. Perfect. I was wondering why it needed both of those on some examples and not others. That makes more sense to me now. I'm getting it, which is good. Okay, so now in our version here, this is our decode. Decode. Okay, so we need to read from the buffer our values and put them into the local variables. So this dot boop equals that. We'll just do that, and that, and we'll change these to Y and Z and button ID, and we're good to go. Except for we need to say read. And we need to not have the values in there because we're reading them. We don't know what they are. Okay, so that's all of this stuff handled. Then we need down here in our handler to use the X, Y, and Z positions to figure out which tile entity it is, see if it's one of our button handler tile entities, and if it is, use that. So we already are figuring out the player from this context. So ctx.get world. Let's do player. Player dot world dot get tile entity at block positions, and its new block position oh, I get it. Position POS X POS Y POS Z, right? So if layer, we're just doing some error handling here, is not null, we will do that check. We'll look up for the tile entity, and we'll do tile entity TE equals that, and if instance of TE is an instance of what? ITE GUI button handler. Then we will get that, and the new name should be GBH. Put that into there, and this is TE, and then BGH dot handle button, and it's this dot button ID and the player that we're working with, which is player. We did it. So now, when this packet is sent, it will do everything we need to the tile entity. The tile entity will then log that the button was hit, and in our something or another, we've got a message that we need to send using the mod network, which my brain will eventually catch up with. There it is. So mod network dot send to server, and it's a new TE TE GUI button clicked packet, and it's gonna be with this. And we don't have the XYZ coordinates in here. Screen container. No, we didn't save that. Well, we might need to go back and edit our GUI system to know the X, Y, and Z of the block. So we got the title. We've got a screen container dot get position window ID. No. There is nothing about where it's at in the world. Oh yeah, we're that good. So back to MCJTY's tutorial, where he is retrieving such things. So on his first block container, which is my garrison container, his constructor is much more complicated. So he's got the ID, got the world, world, lock position, player inventory, the player entity, which I don't know if you realize this, but player inventory I believe has a player entity. At least it used to. Player inventory dot player. Yeah, see, it's right there. So we're not gonna do that one because we can reference it from another bit of information. WORLD. Must be more, okay. And she's saving this stuff, right? So let's do that. Private tile entity, private player entity, although we don't need that. So private player inventory. Let me just say this dot player, this dot tile entity equals world.get tile entity at position. So just automatically caching that straight up front. This dot player inventory equals player inventory. He's doing it different. I'm making my own interpretation of this stuff because he's also dealing with inventories in his item handlers and stuff. Okay. Slots, don't need any of that stuff. Okay, so then on our mod containers, this is now broken. So we need to do this now. My tutorial. So my tsrts dot proxy get client world position inv, and we don't need the player. There we go. And then on the, he doesn't pass it to the GUI at all. But our GUI construction needs it now, right? No, it doesn't. Oh, that's because that's calling that, not the container. So having that position on the container doesn't call it on the GUI, because the GUI is created somewhere else. Where's its call hierarchy at? On the client proxy. There's no block associated with this at all. Wait, the screen container has the information. Okay, screen container. It's going to be an instance of a certain type. So if screen container instance of, it is a garrison container. What are we talking about? Garrison container. Container.get. We need to make those accessible for the position. We need to cache the position as well. Public. Right? I have a feeling that's not right. We're gonna try it though. Public container block position. Okay. So now on this, this here, we can say get dot position. So block position. Equals that. Us call it up here. So we can access it down below, and then position get X, get Y, and get Z. And button ID, we're just gonna call it 1. That will later be moved over to references, so we can use non-magic numbers everywhere. Okay, now this is airing off. This is on our tile. We need to block position, so this dot get position. That's the next parameter. Come on, just tell me what the next parameter is, please. That's this player inventory, which we're going to name player inventory, player entity. Now, what don't you like? Oh, what's a world? This dot world. There we go. Now you happy? You seem to be happy. Okay, so now back on our button, we're gonna pass in that we're. That's not it. This button, GUI screen, we're gonna pass in that it's okay, yeah. That was quite the puzzle to figure out. Hopefully I did it right. If not, we might need to call it, because I'm not sure how much more I can think that through tonight. If it's something easy, we'll get it, but if it's not, we might need to call it a night. Pick it up tomorrow or something. Our simple little project here is starting to have lots and lots of class files in it, right? To make it even come close to being functional, right? And there's a lot to do still. There's a lot to do in terms of everything I can think of what I might want to add to this. Button, click it. And we crash. Awesome. We got the GUI open, that was cool. Garrison screen line 44. It's trying to send the network packet. Mouse click event handler. Null pointer exception. So our position was null. Dang. I mean, we'll put a breakpoint here and make sure, but I believe that's what's wrong. So if that position down here was null, that means that the screen container's position was null on the client, which is what I was kind of afraid of. I need to know what block this is in for this to work. Let's look at the Garrison block one more time. calling this. Open GUI gets the position of the tile entity. Eagle, there are ways that this mod will tie into the other mod too. Not like you'll use them together, but a lot of the functionality of the devices that you can ride around in might be useful. If that makes any sense. Position is null. Dang, after all of that, it's still null. Yeah. I wish someone who doesn't already know would guess so we can talk about it openly. But no. Nobody's guessing. Let's go to register containers here. We are getting the block position there, but I don't know if this is like this code runs on the client when that's running. It's getting the client world. Which get client world only runs on the client with something, right? On the server, it doesn't do anything. Should error off. So that piece of code is only ran on the client, and we're getting the block position right there in data. But what's supplying that data, I don't know. So if we look at this one more time, we create, it's a packet buffer, but what calls this? Get additional data. Hey. You liked and subscribed? Thank you. Oh no, that's you, Eagle. You already subscribed. You're saying to everyone, like and subscribe. Thank you, Eagle. In a different way, man. Additional data. It's a packet buffer. Where is additional data to be found? It's right there. Chop, Google. Thought I said it in a different way, man, to it. That was weird. So, open container is getting additional data. Where's your call hierarchy? In decode packet. Okay. They're using their own stuff here, aren't they? Channel. Open GUI. Calls open container. Display name and output. Request to open a GUI on the client from the server. Got you. So this is the message itself coming in. Extra data writer. Extra data. You know what we need to do? I just figured it out. We need to go to this piece of code and put a breakpoint right there. Unfortunately, our freaking thing's gonna crash on us unless... Can I skip over that? Where it's at? These step filters, drop the frame. Can't drag the execution point down like you can in some environments, really. If I comment that line out, allow us to do it. I just don't want it to crash. Okay. Print system dot out dot print. I just want it to do anything so that it doesn't crash. Ta-da! And it crashes anyway. Cool. So we'll leave that back in, and in here we've got our block, our breakpoint. So I want to see what data has on it, right? See what its constructs are, see what it's got available to it, whatever. Because maybe this read block position is just whacked out for some reason and not correct. I don't know why that would be. I just don't get what data, like where it's building up this extra data and what all it has available to it. Because this should be on the client side that it's doing this. If I'm understanding how this works at all. I feel like I'm really close to getting this. That's why I'm continuing on. I know I shouldn't, but I can't stop. My iPhone is 94% charged. It is 9:50 p.m. for me. It is saying that it is scheduled to finish charging by 5 a.m. So between now and 5 a.m., which is what, 7 hours from now, it thinks it's finally going to be done. Data. Right, you just give me all of your information, please. It's a packet buffer, okay. So what if I watch you and examine all of your bits? It's buffer. It's not going to tell me what it has in it, is it? It's going to be an array of bytes or something. Yep. That's coordinates right there. -1, -1. No, it can't be, because that would be... World... Yeah. World number X... That'd be Z, that'd be Y there. X, Z... It's dimension world or something. Block position from read this. It's a 64-bit integer at the current and increases the reader. Block position too long. So it's packing the X, Y, and Z coordinates together. So it's only the X, Y, and Z coordinates packed together. Pack is doing what? Bit shifting things around. Okay. So it's a single value then. Single long value. It's only got this data in this buffer. Okay, so let's take a peek at this other piece of code from this other mod author where they're doing containers as well. And they are on 114. Just want an example of how this should be done. So they're doing Screen Manager Registry Factory, a different way of doing it, but maybe that's their own code. Let's see, Screen Manager, where are you? Minecraft GUI Screen Manager, really? This is FML event, so this isn't 114 code. Is it? Don't know. So he's just doing the ID, the packet buffer, and everything straight into the container. So if I look at our container, it is this. So he has none of this. He's just doing the player inventory and data, which is really all you would need, I guess. What's he using data for? Nothing. Really? Oh, he's getting an integer off of it to get the entity. Fair enough. About this one. This one he doesn't even use data. Alright, so that's a bad example. Doesn't have a scenario like what we're going for. But let's where's our breakpoint? Let's go back to it. We're gonna step over that line of code, so it's gonna get that integer wherever it is, or that block position, and it is an actual valid block position. Which, by the way, if we look at this, those values do not line up with these values because, again, it was a long and it's packed it all together. Okay, so that block position actually works. What side of the fence are we on? We are on the server or the client right now, and we're going to create a new container for this window ID. Let's step into that code. When we do that, oh, set that one into this one. When we do that, we're calling this super garrison container and ID, which is enough. This is the container on the client. And we never save the block position. Why? I have no idea. This dot position equals position. And then we can step through this. Returns the new container. And that goes back to what? Nothing, because that was just a packet. Okay. The server caught up with us. We hit the button and we crash. Same type of reason? I'm guessing so. This never got saved. That's cool. Back here. I have one more idea up my sleeve, guys. This container, when we create it, should call the same type of deal. Right? This container is going to be passed into this, so why would we need to save? Oh, that's why. Let's run this again. I think that, yeah. I think it might not have saved when we did that change to add that position in there. This change right here, because it still had the star up there like it wasn't saved. That makes perfect sense to me why before it was null. Now it shouldn't be null, because we were in this. We probably had a valid position on this. In fact, let's check when we come in here. But it never saved it. We never told it to save it, so it didn't save it. Oh, please work, because if this isn't it, I'm going to pull my hair out. I'm going to stop streaming and I'm going to go to bed. Maybe not in that order. Okay, so we've clicked on the thing. Does this position here have a value? It does. Excellent. So now we go over that, and this position should have a value, and it does. Okay, so let's continue running. We're wherever. This position has a value. Step through that. We are now on the server side. It still has a value. We're now back on the client side. It's got the packet. I'm trying to create this thing. We're in the GUI. We click the button. We never hit that line up. Oh wait, we did really. We've got a position, which means back on the server again. Button ID 1 was recognized. Awesome. Okay. To anyone that followed that complete mess of me programming this stuff tonight, thank you. You're amazing. I'm not sure I even followed it all at times, but hey, we're here. It's 10 o'clock. I need to stop, and this is working. I know it's just sending a single message, but it's very powerful because now this can be extended to other tile entities fairly easily. I won't say it's as easy as it would have been in 1.7 or 1.12, because this is kind of a nightmare to set up a new GUI. Like, the old system wasn't that bad. I understood everything there. This is a bit weird. But maybe with time, I'll figure it out better. I got it working. I'm making this message appear. We are opening a GUI, displaying it to the user, putting a button on that. That button does some code, which fires a packet back to the server to say, hey, I clicked a button. So that we can do things like, I don't know, change the team of this block, change the owner, right? You know what? Why don't we do that? Let's. I spent all this time. We're doing it. Dang it. Let's go all the way. I'm gonna spend 15 more minutes here. I want to have a battle between these guys. When will I face reveal? When I'm at 1,000 subscribers. So in this, you're gonna full send it? What do you mean when I full send it? I've got a webcam. I'll start streaming with my webcam. Oh nah. What? Where's my owner at? Oh no. This dot set owner equals this dot get owner plus button. I don't care what it does. It just needs to be different and unique, right? Because when I do this, when this is unique on this block, then every entity it spawns will keep that unique owner, basically. So now, back on my unit itself, in the unit itself, yeah. Do you have to go to college to make Minecraft mods or plugins? Or is all coding the same? I did not go to school specifically for modding Minecraft, if that's what you mean. And hello, Space Engineers! Sorry for calling you Reaper the other day. It was an insult beyond insults. I just thought it was him messing with me. Okay, now. So now, if we break this one, let these guys kill each other. Damage potion. Let's get rid of this guy. I'm gonna put one here, and one here, and I'm going to click the button on this one. Oops. I don't know. The heck? Obviously, I need to intercept that button request. So this guy should fight that guy, and this guy, whoever the winner is, shouldn't fight his teammate. It comes out of his block. Okay, he should fight that, or he should fight that guy. Oh no, they're just gonna fight like that. These are on two teams now, basically, right? So they will gang up on each other potentially, but never fight their teammates. Trying to mentally keep track of where they are. So this guy and this guy are left. This team has 3 right now. They're definitely not fighting their teammates, I can tell you. Ooh, he might have been a teammate. We'll know after this battle. So these 3 are all on the same team. So, okay, those guys should be on opposite teams. And they are. Good, I want both of them killed off. And keep track of them good enough. These 2 should fight. These 2 should fight. Those 2 are stuck. That can happen weird like that. Yeah, what else would be nice is if the owner name was above their head, right? Can we make that happen? Thought I tried that. Get custom name, is it? Has custom name, get custom name. Yeah, I know what you mean, Reaper, but it's different when you're doing it in code. Like, I can't just apply a tag. Why are they not running at all? Let's look at the parent class. There might be a different signature for it that it's actually running. Wait, back. Has. The heck? Has. Space engineers than me now. Did I just call you Reaper? Oh my gosh. Right, Fat. That's exactly what I want to do. I'm just not far enough along. So these guys are actually set up on teams. So if I do teams list, I don't know, blue. There's no members. Nobody's on blue. Red. Okay, so there's one guy on red right now, right? But apparently that one guy is doing really well. He's still out there. Go red. Could be also that I'm not on red. So let me do this. Teams join blue and dev. So now if we list blue, you see I'm on blue, and that one that just spawned in is on blue too. So I'm using the team system inside Minecraft that you usually have over here on the side when you're playing mini games and stuff, and forcing these guys to join teams. So that team will then determine their color is my idea, right? I'll use probably at least 2 teams, red and blue, maybe 2 more, yellow and green or something like that, for a total of up to 4 teams in the mod. And that means I'll need 4 textures for these guys. And the texture that they choose will be based on their team. But I don't have that yet, because we're still way too early in this. You know, the textures will be pretty much the same, it's just they'll have a red tint to them. Look at this team just owning. I guess all those guys are on a team and they're just wrecking people. Every time he spawns, he's just toast. You vote pink. We could do that. I have nothing against pink. I'll probably forget, but I have nothing against doing that. Yeah, and 4 is just because I don't want to make too many textures in Photoshop. But there's nothing stopping us from using every color we wanted to. Now, if I can figure out a way to like add shading to it so that I don't have to make textures, that would be awesome. Like how the grass textures work, I guess, or something. Oh, we hit a breakpoint somewhere. It's looking for a name finally. What the heck? Why is it just now looking for a name? Don't get that. Not at all, not at all. Well, it should get one, right? Step over. Oh, it's trying to save. And it's saving the world. It has nothing to do with rendering at all. Let's do this. Name. Clearly one of these is going to continue to win, because with that many on their team, these other guys spawning in don't stand a chance. Team win. Can I name tag these guys or not? I cannot. You just right click on them, right? I'm even shift right clicking. Nothing. It says zombies. Does that not work for hostile mobs? It doesn't. Wait. It did for him. Why not these guys? I mean, not that it matters. I don't actually want that for my game mode, but I do want these guys to have a name above their head. Let's spawn in a baby. Come on, let me spawn a baby in. Why can't I spawn baby? You used to be able to right click on another mob with an egg and it would give you a baby. Do babies not get name tags? No, they can get name tags. Huh. Look at the horde of of minions going after these guys when they spawn. They all just turn and zero in on him. Doesn't stand a chance. And they're both spawning at approximately the same rate, so the blocks spawn every 10 seconds. So let's thin the herd. Try and give this guy a chance. Still don't have a chance. It's like 5-on-1. I'm curious if it's something about those guys coming out of this one are fighting each other too. This one they're not. This one they might. Look, it's already winning over there. Maybe it's because they're not spawning at the exact same time. They have a little bit of a head start. He can walk off there, so. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah, easy enough to fix. There, now they should fight each other at the same time. One dies right after another. Oh, they're spawning first now. These guys survived. Now they're winning again. How is that possible? This is continually wins. Like, at this point, there's no point. Like, he's going to win every time. Let's make another one. Need to fix that bug. It's on my block action. I need to, like, return true or something when I actually open the GUI. Something like that. Yeah, I didn't do my return in there. I'll have to do that later. Yeah, return true. That is what was needed. And it is in there. So now if I were to place test, yeah, it doesn't add that block there when I go into it, right? Because it's intercepting the action. All of these guys are on the same team, which means it's from this, and it takes 2 of these for these guys to be in the winning spot. Oh wait, something's stopped. Saving the world again. Get rid of these breakpoints. They're not needed anymore. Oh, it's down there. What the heck? All these guys are from that block? Let's reset this. How? What is with the power of this block of 1 over here? There can only be 1. Die. Both of you die. You die too. And you should be completely outnumbered by these 2. Go. Oh, they're fighting each other. That's what it is. Because they're not on a team. Okay. So I need to make it actually control the team inside this button. And the only reason I have to do that is, for my purposes, I can't test with 2 people in my dev environment all the time. Normally you will not have a button in there. The only other thing I can think of is I can persist the team that I'm on when they spawn, or something like that, or when the block's placed. And I can, you know, place block 1, go on a team, place block 2, go on a team. Yeah, so that block there has an unfair advantage because they work together. These blocks here will fight each other when they spawn, along with that entire other team. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.